Hey, I'm Matt Easton, founder of Leasing University, and right now I'm going to give you 7 basics of leasing apartments. If you're just getting started in the industry, these 7 basics, well, they're going to help your career go through the roof. And if you're surviving in the industry, these 7 basics, getting back to these 7 basics are going to eliminate a lot of your struggles, make your job a lot easier, and you're going to lease a lot more apartments. So let's get to it. 7 basics of how to lease apartments. Number 1, trial and error is not a strategy. Even if you've worked in the industry for 20 years and you're like, I've pretty much got it figured out. If you're just trying things, if you're just kind of going with the flow or trusting your gut, that's not a strategy. That's not going to help you lease apartments. True professionals, the real rock stars, well, they have a process and they follow that process and they trust in that process. Step by step by step, they know exactly what to say, what to do, when to say it, and when to do it. Trial and error, it's not a process. Number 2, along those same lines, you have to have a process. Leasing apartments, property management, real estate, it's really different than a lot of other careers out there. You wouldn't get hired as a CPA with no process of how to balance the books. You certainly wouldn't work as a doctor with no process about how to perform that operation. Yet in our industry with property management, we pretty much just, give somebody a job and hey, they're gonna figure it out. Or we give them some kind of lame old school training that doesn't really cover, here's exactly what you say to greet the prospect. Here's how you determine their wants and needs. Here's how you select an apartment and build value. Here's how you make a proposal and here's how you close, right? Breaking down every single step of that leasing process and exactly what to say and what to do during those steps. Once you get a process, all you have to do is follow it and you'll get more leases. Number 3, and this is so important, amateurs, and you don't want to be an amateur, amateurs provide information. The real pros out there, well, they curate information. They take all the information that's out there, they grab the specific things that are relevant to that prospect, and they present them. Your renter today has more access to information than ever before. In some cases, that renter may have more access to information than you do. Simply providing them information about your community, all your amenities, your rent specials, and everything that you've got going on, that's not being a professional. A professional is going to figure out exactly what's going on with that prospect's situation, take all of the information, select the 1, 2, or 3 things that are relevant to them, and present to them a solution for a better life. Don't just provide information to your prospects, curate a specific experience around their needs. Tip number 4, learn how to tell the difference between an objection and a complaint. Listen, an objection is something that you need to handle or address in order for that person to sign a lease with you. A complaint is what? It's what we all normally do. We complain. Moving is stressful. Moving is scary. Nobody likes moving. Of course they're going to complain. Combine that with the fact that there's no perfect apartment out there for anybody at any price, and every single renter is going to have complaints. If you haven't been trained on a very specific system, how to filter out what's really an objection that I need to spend some time on, and what's merely a complaint, well, you're not getting all of the leases that you could be. Simply learn how to tell the difference between objections and complaints. Number 5, the real professionals out there, well, they solve problems. They don't just present information. Let me give you an example. Prospect says to you, I don't like my place right now. It's a little bit noisy. And you suddenly jump in and start presenting information. We're a great new building, brand new construction, super quiet here. You won't even hear your neighbors. Our building is awesome. A real professional learns those very specifics about their prospects and solves their problem. Let me give you an example of the same situation. You know, my current place right now, it's a little bit noisy. I get it. When you say a little bit noisy, just out of curiosity, unpack that for me. Do you mean your apartment itself is noisy, the community that you're in is noisy, or the neighborhood around the community? Well, to be honest, the apartment that I'm in is great. The building that I'm in is brand new when I moved in there, but it's the neighborhood. There's a lot of noise going on in the neighborhood, and honestly, I don't feel safe. I mean, the neighbors are out at all hours, cars with loud stereos, and the last time I pulled in, I was getting my groceries out of my car, and I felt like something was going to happen. I don't feel safe with the neighborhood that I'm living in. A real professional doesn't just stop at the what, they figure out the why behind why that person is telling them that. And most importantly, the why behind the why. So it's not just noise, it's the fact that they don't feel safe in the noisy neighborhood that their current apartment is located in. Real professionals take the time to learn about their prospects and solve for their real needs. They don't just start throwing out information willy-nilly. Number 6, true rock stars out there are next step obsessed. And we can train you how to always be setting a next step. It's a lot easier than you think it is. But if you really want to be a rock star in property management, if you want to lease more apartments, if you want your career in real estate to go through the roof, you have to always set a next step while you're talking to that person. Whatever you're doing at that time, you don't want to stop doing it without clearly identifying what the next step is. Number 7, and I think you've got this because you've made it this far in the video. By the way, if you've gotten anything out of this video, please subscribe to the channel and please give the video a like. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But number 7 is you've got to think like a top performer. How does a top performer think? You've got to have a positive attitude. Be in a hurry to help you. Hey, great to see you. What can I get you information on? Always focus on that process. Figure out every day, is there something that I can tweak in my process? Is there a little bit of practice and training that I can do to get better at closing? Or maybe there's a certain objection that I'm always getting. I'm going to take 5 minutes out. Maybe I've got a mentor, right? I'm going to jump on that coaching call with Matt Easton and I'm going to ask Matt, hey, how do you handle it when people say, I want to look at 3 other places? Think like a top performer. Don't get caught up with the rest of the herd. Don't get caught up with the other people at your property that are maybe being negative, they're maybe being down, they're maybe talking negatively about your current residence or the company that you work for. You are a champion. You can do great things. You simply need to start thinking how a top performer would think. How can I do better? How can I change my process? How can I improve? How can I stay positive? How can I get more done? What exactly do I need to do to get promoted? Simply think like a top performer. Listen, I talked a lot about things that have to do with a process. If you want to look at our process, if you want to look at our training, we'd love to have you look at Leasing University. Let me give you a sample right now.
This is the best investment I've ever made.
I've been in the property management industry I'm on my 3rd year, and I have never got a lease signed that fast.
My name is Matt Easton and I'm the founder of Leasing University. I've developed Leasing University just for you. You and I are going to work together virtually from your phone, from your tablet, from your PC. I'm going to be here to coach you every step of the way to get you better, to help you get those leases.
It really taught me how to go the extra mile and really gave me the why behind the important things that you have to do when you are leasing and meeting with people and connecting with them and helping them choose their home.
Everything that you need to know to hit your occupancy goals, to advance your career as a leasing consultant, it's all right here for you at Leasing University.